Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel, Cooking for the Family. I'm going to share with you how I make my Mexican stewed chicken. I'm also going to share with you different ways that you can use these same ingredients to get different meals. Are you ready? Let's get started. So first, what I'm using is some chicken thighs. I took the skin off and we're going to be using bone-in thighs. Also, these are the ingredients for our sauce. I'm using New Mexico chilies that are dried. I have 4 Roma tomatoes. I'm going to use some garlic cloves. We're also going to put some onions in. And I'm going to share with you how you can add or subtract from these ingredients to make different types of sauces for some wonderful, homemade, authentic Mexican dishes. We're also going to add some potatoes in as well to our meal. Are you ready? Let's get started. So first in my pot, I'm putting in my New Mexico chilies, and I'm going to be using 3 chilies, okay? Now, sometimes when you get the chilies from the pack, they might have like a little residue on them, so I always like to rinse mine with cold water before I actually add them to my pot. To my pot, I also added in my 4 Roma tomatoes and my 2 cloves of garlic, and I added those all in whole. Now next, we want to use 2 russet potatoes. These are about medium-sized russet potatoes. If you have a large russet potato, then you just need to use 1. This is also going to go in our pot as we're going to be stewing our chicken, okay? Now with my potatoes, I like to cut them about the size of a quarter, but no smaller than the size of, say, a nickel. If you are new to my channel, welcome in. If you're a returner, welcome back. My name is Dyvonne, and on my channel, I share what I like to cook and bake for my family in my kitchen. It is free to subscribe, so I invite you to hit that subscribe button and become one of my awesome subscribers. So just like the potatoes, I cut my onion about the size of a quarter, but no smaller than the size of, say, like a nickel. We're going to go in and put our onion aside, and I'm using white onion. Now our tomatoes, chili, and garlic have been simmering for about 15 minutes, and this is what you want your tomatoes to look like. You see how they've softened up and the skin starts to get a little wrinkly? That's what you want, as well as the chilies will plump up and start to get a little pale color. That's what you want to be looking for when you're simmering. And be sure that you're simmering. We don't want to boil them. Just do a nice little simmer for about 15 minutes on medium to low. Now next in my pot, I put a tablespoon of vegetable oil. We're going to saute our white onion just until they get slightly soft and just a little translucent. So we're just going to saute them for about a few minutes, let them kind of hang out in the pot. While they're doing that, I went on and I took our tomato, the chili, and garlic out. We put them in a blender because we're going to be blending them. Now with this basic sauce, you can stew chicken, you can stew pork meat, and you can also stew beef as well. Now this also, we're using the New Mexico chilies, but you can also use Guajillo chilies as well. So sometimes we'll use New Mexico chilies, or sometimes I'll use Guajillo chilies. Now what you want to do is, once I've taken the chilies out, you see how we have the seeds and you have a little bit of the vein in there as well. What I like to do is go on and just kind of clean out those seeds. The seeds are going to make it really spicy, and so is that vein, and so you want to make sure that you take all that out. And just I use just like my thumb, my fingers. I also sometimes use my butter knife because you want to make sure that you get all of those seeds out. That's going to keep your dish from being too spicy. Now using the 3 chilies, your dish will have a little bit of a kick to it. Not too spicy, but it will have a slight kick to it. If you want it to be more on the mild flavor, just use 2 chilies, okay, instead of using 3 chilies. Now this is a basic sauce. So with this sauce, if you wanted to make enchilada sauce, for enchilada sauce, I would take half of a white onion and simmer that along with the tomatoes, garlic, and chili. And then once they're simmered and they're nice and soft, I put them in the blender with 2 cups, and we're using 2 cups right now, 2 cups of the cooking liquid, okay? Now also, in addition to that, we're going to put in a teaspoon of kosher salt. You can use kosher salt, or either you can use regular table salt, but 1 teaspoon, and that is how we're going to make our basic sauce, as well as how you would also make enchilada sauce. Next, we're going to use some Adobo all-purpose seasoning, and this is what we're going to be using to season our chicken. This is, I have 8 thighs, and this is bone-in thighs, so I have 8 thighs. I'm also going to sprinkle just a little bit of pepper, and we're just going to kind of season with about It's about 1.5 teaspoons of the seasoning that I'm using for the thighs. Some are larger thighs, some are smaller thighs. Now, if you don't have this adobo seasoning, you can go in and just season your chicken with regular salt and pepper, or either you can also season it with a little bit of garlic salt and a little bit of pepper. Now, when it comes to seasoning, you want to kind of season it to your taste. And when our dish is complete, we'll also be able to add any additional seasoning if need be. Now, in the description box below, I will have a list of all the ingredients you need to make this wonderful Mexican stewed chicken with this sauce, as well as the recipes for the other sauces. Now, to my pot of sauteed onions, I added in our sauce. You want to cook this until it starts to boil. Once it starts to boil, we're going to add in all of our potatoes, and we're also going to add in our chicken. Now, during the holidays, when I make my tamales, I will also use this sauce with a couple more extra chilies, as well as with some onion blended in there to also make that nice sauce that I cook the meat in for my tamales. Now, the potatoes that we're using in our recipe is going to work twofold. One is it's going to act as a thickening agent because some of the potatoes will break down and they're going to end up thickening our sauce for us. And we're also going to have some whole pieces of our potatoes as well. Now, on medium to high heat, our chicken is going to stew in the pot for 1 hour to 1 hour and 15 minutes till our chicken is nice and done and tender. You want the chicken where it's basically falling off that bone. Now, I'm using the bone-in thighs, but you can definitely use the boneless thighs if you like. And I like using the thigh meat because the thigh meat stews up better than using the chicken breast. Also, as our sauce and meat cooks together, it's also going to reduce down. So you're going to have the sauce is going to reduce down, it's going to thicken up, as well as your chicken is going to be nice and tender. Our chicken has been cooking for about 30 minutes now. It's doing a nice good boil. I'm going to now reduce it down from a high heat to a medium heat. So once it comes to a nice rolling boil like it is, I reduce it down and it's going to cook for another 45 minutes. Now, when you get to that 1 hour and 15 minutes, your chicken should be done and it should be coming away from the bone very easily. If it doesn't, let it cook for another 15 minutes or so until it's nice and tender and it's coming away from the bone. And I like to call this Mexican soul food cooking, and it cannot be rushed because the end result is a delicious homemade dish with all the wonderful, authentic Mexican flavors. Go on and give our sauce a try and see how we're doing with our seasoning. The seasoning is right on the money, y'all. Oh my gosh, it tastes so good. So we have our cilantro. So I'm going to go on and put some nice fresh chopped cilantro. I've made some homemade Spanish rice to go with our Mexican stewed chicken. In the description box below, I'll have the recipe for my Spanish rice, and I'll also have the link to my video on how to make authentic Spanish rice and also refried beans. Well, dinner is ready, y'all. It is looking so good. It is smelling so good in the kitchen. So I'm going to go on and make us up a plate, and we're going to give it a try and see how we did. So this is our plate, y'all. We have the rice, some potatoes in there, that wonderful sauce that we made. It looks so good. I'm going to go on and get your bite ready. Let's see here. Oh, the chicken is tender, y'all. And so we've got our rice. I'm going to put some potatoes on there and some chicken. We got our nice sauce. That bite right there, that is for you. Go ahead and take your bite. Okay, now I'm going to take my bite and I'm going to see how we did today. Wow. Y'all, you have got to give this recipe a try. Those simple, basic ingredients come together to make multiple dishes for yourself and for your family. Well, that is it for me today, y'all. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, I invite you to hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, don't forget to show us some love. Give it a thumbs up and click share, and share this video with a friend or family. And click that notification bell so you never miss out when I share what I'm cooking and baking for my family in my kitchen. Well, I hope you enjoyed spending time with me today in my kitchen. And remember, it's always good when Dyvonne is cooking for the family. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye, everybody.